Hi, hello. It's been a while. I have moved, clearly. This is not a permanent background. This is just the only space in the house that's not hideous for a background. So this is where we'll be temporarily. We moved into a fixer-upper. We're doing a lot of renovations. There will be a lot of visual changes throughout the next probably year at the rate that things are going right now. I will catch you guys all up on that in a video if you want me to, or we can chat in the comments of this video. I'm going to keep it short though because this is a swatch video and not a life update video. So today I have the ILNP Love Story collection. This is the Valentine's Day trio from ILNP. It's their Studio Color line, which are all usually just creams, and they are all creams today. These are available right now, so I will link the ILNP website down below. I also will have comparisons after the swatches, so 3 polishes here, and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Soulmate, and this is described as an ivory rose. Pretty decent coverage here on the first coat. I was really surprised at how opaque it was for such a light color. Formula also feels really good. It was fairly even. I had a little bit of unevenness over the ridges on my nails, but really nothing out of the ordinary for a first coat of any polish. This covered really well for me in 2 coats and evened out really nicely. I would say 2 or 3 though, just depending on your application. I would not be surprised at all to hear that someone needed 3 coats of this one. So that is 2 coats of Soulmate. The next polish is called Love Letter, and this is described as a mauve berry. Great formula on this one as well. It applies very easily and very evenly. It does have a little bit of a curly finish with that slight squishiness to it. It's slightly less creamy than the previous polish. Covered completely in 2 coats. There wasn't too much to cover in the second coat, but it did deepen the color quite a bit. So that is 2 coats of Love Letter. And the last polish is called Adored, and this is described as a red berry. Good formula on this one, also a bit more of a jelly or curly finish. I feel like this is leaning a little bit more jelly. This did take a slight bit of extra manipulation to get an even coverage compared to the other polishes in the collection. So this covered completely for me in 2 coats, and the color deepened really nicely, and this is really minor and maybe not something you would notice, but I did have to go back into the bottle to get a little extra polish. I feel like I needed a little bit more than usual on my brush just to get this spread out evenly, but it still came together fine in 2 coats. So that is 2 coats of Adored. So for comparisons, if you are unfamiliar with how I do comparisons, I generally stick within the same brand. That is only because my collection is very overwhelmingly large and it would be impossible for me to go through and put things together from every single brand to find exact dupes. I do pull them if something really obvious comes to mind. I see a polish and I know there's a very specific polish from another brand that looks like that. I will pull it out and compare it. I also welcome any suggestions and questions about 2 polishes that you may want to see put together. The end of this video is not necessarily closing the chapter on these polishes as far as comparisons go. If you have something that you want to see, please let me know, and if I have it in my collection, I'll put the 2 together. Soulmate is right here in the center. There aren't a lot of cream polishes from ILNP because they've only been doing this Studio Color line in the last year or year and a half maybe. So I don't have a ton of comparisons for these polishes, but this one is Twirl. This is from last year's Halloween. Good God. Last year's Valentine's Day trio. This is a bright baby pink, where this is a much neutral, almost sandy color in comparison. And then this one here is Canvas. This is just a straight white that came out for, it was like a red, white, and blue trio for the 4th of July. So obviously no dupes there. I knew that the white wasn't going to be a dupe, but I did think that it would be helpful to see this next to white. This one here is Adored. No, it's not. That's a lie. So this one here is Love Letter. Over here I have Rosewood, which is much more brown, much more neutral, less of this like purpley shade. And then here is Mushroom. Again, this is a very neutral dark taupe, so nothing close there. So this one here is Adored. This is Current. This is close, but it is a bit darker. They're actually looking a little bit closer on the viewfinder right now than they are in person. Hopefully that's different once I actually get the footage on the computer, but they are pretty close. I would not say that they're dupes, but they are a very similar tone, just Adored is a bit lighter than Current. And then this one here is Cherry, which is a true red, like a slightly darker true red, I guess. But again, no comparisons there. It doesn't have that purple tone that Adored has and is just generally much brighter. And just for reference, because
if one of these was pre-existing and the other one was new, I probably would have compared them on the wheel next to each other. So this is Love Letter and this one here is Adored.
So I think Love Letter is actually going to be my favorite out of this whole bunch. Normally I think I would gravitate more towards something like Soulmate, but I feel like this was just a little too neutral for me. I think if this had just a little bit more pink in it, it would have been my favorite, but because it doesn't, Love Letter is my favorite. So that is the ILNP Love Story collection for Valentine's Day 2025. I will link the ILNP website down below where you guys can check those out. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.